sometimes maybe I discount too much because I'm always looking up to the bests, right? I'm always looking up to the bests, and it's discouraging. Yet at the same time, it's the place where all of my encouragement comes from. It's discouraging on an envious level. It's discouraging, and well, what do I mean by the bests? Every hero, every saint, every sage, every hero, everyone who's ever accomplished anything. And the ones that we know of publicly pale in comparison to those who truly are. It's good to be skeptical, and it's good to dig deep. Um, and it's good that the common notion is to like disregard all these mythologies and fairy tales. That's good. In order for a greater truth. So, like, that's good. And the common notion and the common debate on that, where there's this criticism of this mythology, like, that's fantastic. It's great. It's really good. Beyond that, because we're mostly stupid. We. Not you. And not just me. We. I've not breached every threshold. But I've breached this one, where we think that these common notions of heroes, of those we envy in any way, saints, sages, gods, archangels, archetypal forms, algorithms, like whatever. They're all very powerful in their own right, and all the concepts, and it's good that it's all out there. So I'm not trying to discount that. What I'm saying is the truth about the real heroes. To say I know they exist is quaint. And even though I know they exist, I've been in their presence. More than you would believe. I'd tell you, but you wouldn't believe it. And if you don't believe it, it won't do any good. You already don't believe this, which is good. But you're still here. If I started off with the conclusions I've come to, right? But here's the thing. I'm telling you, man. The real heroes, because we think of the mythologies of the gods, the saints, the heroes, whatever your mythology is, or whatever your mythologies are, which is one of the psychological ways of talking about the Bible when you're talking about the difference between Elohim and Jehovah. Or, like I mentioned before, I think it's like Kael, Kadam. Maybe I'm terrible at remembering this stuff, Elohi, Yeshurun. So if we replace the name God with the name heroes, maybe you have a hero of heroes. Maybe you have something you aspire to the most. Maybe you have a couple, the one that you outwardly or consciously aspire to, which may or may not be in concordance with the one that you innerly, underneath, aspire to. Or you may have a host of heroes, right? I have a host of heroes. I'm envious for all of them. But envy is one of those kind of just like fear. Envy is one of those words that is misconstrued because there are good types of envy. I put this in my tetrahedron video. A little piece of this, but like good envy, like it's good to be like, wow, amazing. So envy so often is associated with jealousy, and I guess what I'm saying is like envy is a sphere or a tetrahedron, and envy in this thought diagram, this verbal pictogram. If envy is the center of a sphere or a tetrahedron, then as you reach toward the extremities in different directions, maybe one point is jealousy, one point is admiration, one point is competitive consternation in a good way, and on the other side, competitive consternation in a bad way. I mean, it's just a way of talking about it, but and within that sphere of distinction, it's a fear of distinction around a central point. And just like on the Earth, just like the Earth has a center and more or less is a globe, a sphere, more or less. Give me a fucking break. It's an analogy. Not a bad one. Not perfect. Analogies can't be perfect. By definition. Just like every point on the Earth, on the planet Earth, just like every point, every position, every place has a unique coordinate and also a unique quality. A unique collection of quantities. There's a uniqueness to degree for every place on Earth. And in the continuum, from small place to small place, not much of a difference, right? Yet, there's this continuous, at least seemingly at our scale, which logarithmically is 60 orders of power above, well, no, not that many, but we're many orders of power above the center point logarithmically between the smallest and the largest thing in the cosmological universe, or in the cosmoverse, in the unilogical cosmoverse. So we're in the middle. We're bigger than the middle. A cell is the middle, logarithmically between the smallest and the largest thing we know roughly, and that makes sense because it's like it's the fundamental building block, but yet it's also the individual cell is like the individual cell logarithmically, so far as we know, is pretty much halfway logarithmically. Does it matter how we count logarithms if what base we're in? But logarithmically in the metric system, which is tied with phi, whereas the standard system isn't, and it's important that we have both. It's one of the reasons why America is important. Because the standard system, and this is the thing too, most people ain't going to get this, but to the Kemites, it's a fucked up thing, but like, the only thing protecting the old Kemetan, pre-Moorish, and between the Kemetan and the Moorish, the only thing protecting that is the standard system in what is commonly known as the historically oppressive United States of America. The United States of America protects the standard system. The French Revolution was all about the metric system. If they had predominated over the US globally, there would be no more standard system. There would be no more Kemetan system. There would be no more Egyptian system. The Greater Egypt, the Upper and the Lower Kingdom, all that magic shit about Ethiopian mathematics is protected by base 2, which is not metric. So here in America, where computers are, all this computer shit, base 2, base 2, base 2, base 2, base 2, base 16, powers of 2. You'll never get to 45 degrees, bro. Ever. So in a sense, like, I guess that's just another proof of the fact that, like, we use both. We count in base 10. But it could go the other way. It could go the other way too. But I guess all I'm saying is that so far as like mathematics and number systems go, like, the stronghold. I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to fucking believe. And in this way, I'm going to expose myself as a chicken hawk, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit because I've thought about it a lot. And I won't even scratch the surface. I've barely ever said anything I really think, ever. I'm always playing it safe. Always. Always. Even in my most true, even in my most like false and just stupid idiot, even in my most drunken, even in my most sober, I'm always playing it safe. When that thing happened to me back several years ago, 15-ish, 2015-ish, it's when I learned that I could keep a secret even in my dreams. It sounds weird, but when shit, I guess I'm just saying, and maybe as a piece of encouragement to you, because I'm doing this for you. I'm doing it for me too. I'm my only friend, and I like it when every so often I see my in my flatness, in my it's the biggest surprise of making these video diaries of myself. Even when I have my sad eye, I'm very, very happy when I see my plump cheek. no matter what the rest of this looks like. And it always looks bad. All of my beauty exists here. Just like Santa. St. Nicholas. The Golden Legend. If you don't know what that is, Google it. But anyway. Okay, so I just lost my train of thought, which means I said what I had to say. The rest is in the sauce. It'll come out if it needs to. Don't worry about what ye shall say. Alright, I'm trying to stop buying wine. I stopped buying hard liquor a while ago. So, a long time ago, several months back, maybe a year ago. I was making videos where I was mixing just a little bit of vodka with water. That actually worked great. That was good. It got me like down, down, down. I was doing more work and so on. Right. The problem is if I have the vodka, I'll have some little shots, and yeah, even if most nights that works really great, there's always one night where I think it's a good idea to take maybe just one pull, and then it's all over. Which is one of the reasons why most of the time I would always buy like the smallest bottles of vodka I could, because I knew that it. So anyway, I stopped buying booze, and a lot of times during the day, especially while listening to media, when people talk about hard liquor, I'm like, yeah. And I don't blame you if that's you at all, because I know and I've been there. And I know there's the mainstream reason that says you drink a lot because of this. And they're right up to an extent. But we might want to ask ourselves, is it possible that the suicide rate would be even higher if there weren't alcohol? How many people would have killed themselves had they not drunk themselves into a stupor and passed the fuck out when they had a bad day? Just saying. People don't talk about that. It's not the most important issue. People don't talk about, butchering 50 million chickens a day. Which, if we believe in karma, then we could say, well, one of the closest ancestors to the Tyrannosaurus Rex is paying the price for eating so many of the first mammals, or first potential mammals, etc. We're eating the most benign relative of the dinosaur, as close as we can get to the dinosaur safely and exact revenge upon. That's where we're going. So karmically, chickens bear the brunt for everything the dinosaurs did. What animal in the future, when humans are all gone, the whole line, I don't just mean humans like we evolved something else. A lot of evolutionary people, a lot of people who in evolution are like, a lot of people who love the earth more than people because of how fucked up people are like, get people out of the way, fuck it. It's over. We're toast. It's a big thing. And it's also a big thing in it's actually exactly the same thing, but just like framed differently. On the religious side, where it's like fuck the world, fuck all these people, they're all fucked, they're all going to hell. You know, we're gonna rise with Jebus, the Jebusites, the Jesuits. We're gonna all rise with them, and everything's gonna be hokey dokey, and fuck all y'all motherfuckers. Never mind the fact we could all be toast, every human being. So, do we fight for this specific form, or do we fight for, God, the truth, the greatest idea? Say all human beings die. Just say. Whether you're into religion, whether you're wherever we go, heaven, hell, whatever. Just put all that aside. Just pretend it's a thought experiment. We're just thinking. We're just talking. We're playing. What that we see in our everyday lives takes over. Now I say, okay, well, I don't say, but let's think of this as a thought experiment. So you go from something bigger to something smaller. So you go from like the dinosaurs, then some little shrew climbs out of the ocean, and eventually that shrew turns into a woolly mammoth. That's not talked about a lot. But that's the spectrum, isn't it? A shrew eventually turns into a woolly mammoth. Okay, well, let's just think of that as being true, just like a seed grows into a flower, grows into a great oak, grows into a tree, where there are still very small leaves. So eventually, something crawls out of the ocean. It becomes a shrew. Some of its kids become me. Some of its kids become a woolly mammoth. Some of its kids become a saber-toothed tiger. So it's all Cain and Abel across the animal kingdom on land. Mammals, vertebrates. But anyway, it's big mammal. Big mammals, the big cats, the big bears. What is it? Lions, tigers, and bears? Oh my. Yeah, they were all really, 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 really big. Now, a little itty bitty quote unquote wild cat. Never mind a fucking house cat, dude. My old cat, Lucky, that motherfucker. One time I was fucking with him just a little bit, like I was playing too hard, so to speak. Oh. He showed me his boundary. And he showed me quick. Claws in my face. Man. He was like fucking right there, just showing me like out of nowhere, like backwards in time lightning strike. Like I'm telling you, my old house cat Lucky could have taken me. I mean, he could have taken me. Which is also like, yeah, if you have a house cat, by the way. We're looking, what we? We're looking for a mutation. Cats, domesticated cats are looking for mutation. They don't want to kill. They don't want to kill. My cat ate cantaloupe. The only other vegetables, well, I've seen cats eat grass. I've seen cats eat catnip. I've seen my old cat Lucky eat catnip, and I've seen my old cat Lucky eat cantaloupe. That's the full spectrum of vegetables I've ever seen cats eat. Besides whatever they put in cat food to fill out the meat. But anyway, yeah, feed your cat cantaloupe. Just give it a shot. Everybody knows cantaloupe's funky. There's some chemical in there, man. There's something. Not honey. Well, I'm trying to think. Did I ever feed him honeydew? I might have. That might have had some. But I feel like it was pretty much cantaloupe. Not so much honeydew, not so much watermelon. But I don't know. Maybe try that too. Maybe I will someday. But yeah, from a Lamarckian standpoint, people always talk about shit being random, but like your mom's eggs was formed in your grandmother's womb. So I mean, you can't tell me, man. Especially if you're a chemist or like a rationalist or at all into causation. Like even if you're like quantum or string theory, like causation still exists, right? That's the thing about all this shit. Like you can't escape causation. Causation, it's just underlying the underlying mechanisms moving in different oscillations. If some unseen thing, or if a series of unseen things, or a geometry of unseen things, or an entangled geometry, even a very clockwork mechanistic unseen geometry of unseen things is working in such a way that, depending on the ratios of the gears of the mechanism, create a certain kind of pulsation. Any pulsation imaginable, from the most simplistic to the most complicated, can be described with essentially infinite clockwork geometries. If the clockwork geometry is hidden beneath with coalescive trigger points, just basically different ratios and terms, right? Alright, I trailed off again, but all I wanted to get to was, oh yeah, so I'm trying to not buy wine. I love wine, but if I drink beer, I just basically drink at the same speed, no matter what I'm drinking. I just always sip when I want to sip, which seems to be pretty much at. I've drank so much for so long that like I have habituated. I just have a habituated thing. So I thought, well, maybe the best thing is just to, because I stopped buying the real hard liquor recently. I mean, I might buy it tomorrow. I'm fickle that way, you know, but even if I mix it with water just a little bit sometimes and sip, which worked out well. And of course, I could mix it myself. I could just take the whole bottle, mix it all up at once, and then I wouldn't have a choice. Yeah. But when I'm at the store buying it, I don't have that discipline. I've thought about it before, and that's never how it goes. So then I was like, okay, no more hard liquor. So then it's just been wine and beer. But even wine, you know, that cheap wine. But it still seems to always be at the same rate. Some nights are better, some nights are worse. So now I'm just drinking beer because I can only drink so much. I'm trying to keep myself at about 8 beers on hand, which is a lot. I know it's a lot. So, for instance, last night I drank 7 beers. I drank myself out. That was it. That was all I had, 7 beers. Tonight I had 8 beers. I mean, I bought, I have in my possession. Between what I had left over and what I bought, I had 8 beers. But it seems like tonight's gonna pretty well. Well, so this is my 5th beer. They weren't all this big. This is the biggest one. The rest were regular beers. I probably have one more beer in me after that. So that's 6. Plus a big one, so that's 7, but I usually include a big one. But so that's still a super lot. But if I'd been drinking wine, I might have drank a half bottle of wine and like 4 beers. Or, because I've been creeping up on like 6 beers and a bottle of wine. Right. A lot of nights I've been creeping up on 6 beers and a bottle of wine. But like, I typically don't buy 12 packs, except for I bought a couple non alcoholic 12 packs. So if I only have 8 beers, I can only drink 8 beers. But if I have 6 beers and a bottle of wine, I can drink 6 beers and a bottle of wine. And that's way more. But it seems like less because it's only 7. So I'm trying to play less tricks on myself. I've said it before, man. I can't count very high. But also, I don't buy bigger bottles of wine. And I don't buy 2 bottles of wine. Well, sometimes I'll have some left over and I'll buy one. But I guess that's just in the spirit of truth. Until we can all tell the truth about ourselves, not just point the finger at everybody else. So, and it's not my only problem. I don't even pretend it's my biggest one, but it's a big one. I also like flavor, and I'm also very lustful. At some points in my life, I might have called myself very passionate, which is a lot more romantic sounding of a way of talking about a very intimate and compromising situation. And knowing that doesn't stop the flood of perversion that is pretty much just a constant thread through my mind. Sorry. Very sorry. I don't suppose that I'll be saved, right? I don't suppose that I'll be saved. Frankly, I don't suppose you will either. But I hope you are. I hope I am too. But eventually, there's going to have to be a number of us who essentially sacrifice ourselves. In so much as just being like, I'm completely fucked and I got no hope and I'm going to try to say the right thing anyway. I'm going to try to tell the truth anyway. Like, I'm already fucked. If I die tomorrow, I'm fucked. If I die in 10 years, I'm fucked. 20, 30. The rate I'm going, even if I lived another 100 years, I'd still be fucked. So at some point, it's like, it's more important to like kind of speak the truth and like, and what do I mean by that in this case? What I mean is I'm admitting something very embarrassing about myself. It's incredibly embarrassing. but it's true, and I know, you're not that much fucking, like, I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care how fucking awesome your tie is. I don't care how fucking slamming your lapel is. I don't care how good you can fucking twerk, right? I don't care how big your dick is. I don't care how much you can fucking squirt your Virginia. Like, I don't care what time signatures you can play. I don't care how much you can shred. Okay, I do. I care about all those things. But what I mean is, like, what did I mean? What I mean is all that shit's awesome. You know? And in my fumbling, childlike, toddler, infantile way, so all the things I think are cool, I play into them as much as possible. But there ain't nothing cooler than actually fucking winning the war of peace. And I know, like, I'm a hypocrite. Like, I'm so unpeaceful. I'm just a complete fucking mess, right? I'm gonna say it anyway. Because I'm a mess whether I say it or not. And the truth is the truth. An outhouse is the truth, bro. You might call it an inconvenient truth. Inconvenient truth. But even when they stink real bad, an outhouse is awful handy. Keeps you out of prison. If that outhouse weren't there and you peed in the same spot, you'd have to be going all tell all your friends, all your fucking neighbors that you're a fucking sex offender. That's the world we live in, man. That's God's world. And that's the world or the space where God isn't, depending where you stand. But depending where you stand, no matter where you stand. Here's the place where I could say it's one way or another. But it's not one way or another. Whether we know it or not, no matter what we debate about, though it does matter. It matters what decisions we make. But within that arena, there's only one way. There's only one truth. One. So, please forgive me for being sanctimonious there. All I wanted to do today, once again, man, it's been taking me 40 minutes lately to get to. I just kind of wanted to carry on the and I was going to talk about how maybe I talk about it one way, I do it a lot, not well. But yeah, even doing it, I think that was the point of this video, is even doing it not well and not editing it and not doing it in an echo chamber, because a lot of people do that. I mean, if I did that shit in a place that was like fucking, practiced a little bit, even for a few days, I think I could make some awesome shit, But even doing it like shit, like you feel it. And I think there are probably tones I've settled upon, and I'm sure I have these repetitive tones over time. And I think even in one of my most recent videos, like I start out doing a and it doesn't sound so good, but then I kind of at one point like settle into this one that's very resonant, right? And the reason I settle into it wasn't just whatever, it was because I was kind of, I wouldn't even say seeking. I tried something, it didn't work, and then I was just like, I got into the thing I knew, and it was all of a sudden one that, especially, I said that it was the sound that resonates my skull, but specifically it's like this part right here of my spinal column that resonates. So like, I know people always talk about vibrations, this, that, whatever, and that's why I wrote a comment in one of those last videos like, hey, does this make your skull rattle? But what I also mean by skull is like kind of this whole area right here. Because it does for me. And it might depend how you're tuned. So if you're at a higher vibration than me, it might vibrate your fucking, it might vibrate a smaller chakra. Right? Or if you're at a higher, if you're at a higher vibration, it might, but if you're at a lower vibration, it might vibrate with a different part of your body, or just your own size, because that's the thing too, because size, tension, right? Like a xylophone, like the same size of a, what are xylophone keys or bells or whatever, xylophone or marimba, like what are those things called? I don't know what they're called. They just look like little blocks or little bricks, but if it's made out of metal, if it's made out of this wood, if it's made out of that wood, depending on how humid it is, on the on all these kinds of things, maybe even the gravity, I don't know, but like it's going to affect the sound of that whatever. Well, same with the human body. It has to do with size, has to do with density, has to do with flexibility, has to do with rigidity, material science. We vibrate, period. I guess all I wanted to say is like, I want to encourage people, because in a lot of ways I already should be dead, and in a lot of ways I should live a lot longer than I'm afraid I won't, because of how deplorably I live my life. I'm still hoping to make a change. I'm trying very hard to overcome the very large part of me that gave up years ago. I've already written myself off. And whatever it is that isn't me interceded and said, you're not done yet. I'm here to say neither are you. And encourage you not, like even little play is a deeply, like juggling. If you don't know how to do shit, if you're afraid to even walk out your front door, if you're afraid of people, afraid of the world, afraid of the wild, afraid of welcome to the jungle, afraid of the city, afraid of the real jungle, even afraid of the woods, the deserts, as well we should be, man. But I don't know what tomorrow will bring or next week. But tonight, if you have safety and you've never juggled before and you want to watch a tutorial, it's good exercise for lazy people. I'm reminding myself. Dinosaurs will never make a juggling video. Tigers will never make a juggling video. But doing this stuff, what I was going to do is just do that for an hour. I've already been talking for 46, which is 23 times 2. So maybe I'll give it 14 minutes. Why? I want to be less embarrassed. I do fantasize about making like a good art out of it, like a presentation, like something I can do. Like, what if I was in the subway and I was really good at it? Like in another 10, maybe even on my deathbed, I don't know, which could be anywhere between the day after tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make it through tomorrow. And 2040, 2050's looming. Who knows after that, but it's not more comforting if it's further off. Okay, maybe a little. So I'm gonna give myself 12 minutes of just fucking around. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I like my overtone. My undertone sucks. Or the tone I build my overtone on. Sometimes I get like a tone with like a couple overtones. I like those. And sometimes if I open my throat for more, but I have problems with my throat, obviously, because of the shit I do. I don't talk about it, but my throat's got problems, and the reason I don't talk about it is because I'm so fucking afraid. But I just keep fucking smoking. I've been doing it more than half my life. Smoke some bad shit. But lately it's the less bad, which is bad fucking enough. Never mind the genuine, quote-unquote, medicinal, like my allergies dropped, like, there was like a 75% reduction in my allergies. I used to be allergic to like grass, well, I still am, I guess. Certain types of grass, Kentucky bluegrass specifically, I guess. Cats, and, oh yeah, supposedly dust. But once I started smoking, my allergies, like, my symptoms plummeted. Plus the stimulant factor. So, I'm not saying it's good, but there is that whole, like, old school, I think it's like an Indian, Native American, maybe both, thing, like tobacco tripping, where you, like, take tobacco juice, make you fucking hurl your guts out, which is, in a sense, good. Some of these toxins, they clean out our systems if we use them sporadically in the right way, blah, blah, blah. It's a jolt to the system. Kind of like the Polar Bear Club, you know, people diving into the cold water to shock the system, make it stronger, you know. If you don't use tobacco and like once every 4 years you do a quote unquote tobacco trip where you drink a bunch of tobacco juice, might be good for you, right? The way I do it ain't. I ain't claiming that. But it's had some beneficial side effects besides just, you know, looking cool. Philip Morris said they wanted to end cigarette smoking, you know, because now they own like cheese and stuff. Anyway, feel free, Philip Morris, to use. No, I'm giving you this fucking image. How bad can I make it? My bro. If that don't do it, nothing will. But I'm not trying to poke fun. Like, I'm just. That's me. I'm lost. I'm going down. A lot of us are going down. If you have a good heart and you're fucked, we're all going down. Let's make sure we hold hands on our way down. Or rather, hold belts. Or hold shoulders. We won't hold hands. We'll hold shoulders. Leaving one hand free. To grab that fucking monster that's been killing our ancestors. That's been killing our parents, our grandparents, our brothers and sisters, our children. If you're like me, this is Suicide Squad shit. If you're like me, and you're like, I'm going down, man. Stop thinking the world's going down. Because if you think the world's going down, you think you're going down. The reason why you think the world's going down is because you think you're going down. If you go down, the world goes down. Enough of us go down, the world goes down. You, me, I, we feel like the world's going down because we feel like we are going down. We're projecting it out. But not just in like some sort of psychosis, because it's fucking true. Because there's this fucking enormous hemorrhaged thought form. It's not an authentic. It's not an a priori thought form. It's a posteriori thought form. See, that's the thing too. We think all thought forms are or the realm of forms or the world of forms or that which is beneath the material level. We think all of that is a priori and that the material is, what do they call it, posteriori? That's not the case. There are thought forms that function beneath the surface of materiality that are not a priori. That's one of the most important things I've ever said. Probably no one will ever watch this, but maybe I've just supported the ether a little bit. Yeah, I trailed off once again. I'll probably have to comment on it later. Because it'll come and it'll go. It'll come and it'll go. Sometimes I press record. I don't know. But it all seems to keep kind of progressing anyway. It's like flipping through a magazine, right? You could buy a magazine and like read it from cover to cover, put it down, never read it again, get nothing. Right? But if you got one magazine you really like, or one comic book, or one book, or one website, or one video, and you look at it here, and you look at it there, and you look at it here, and you look at it there. Over 40 years, man, you're going to know a lot of shit. Every source essentially is a black hole, but every black hole has an event horizon. All right, now I only got 3 minutes. Here. I might go over an hour. We'll see how it goes. Maybe not. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is just simply from a human level. So, see, that's the thing. I don't say it enough like it is. That's the thing, man. Sometimes when nothing else works, this works. And sometimes because I'm so amazed that I can do it at all, even if like not well, like I do it to try to make myself feel better and pump myself up. That's always when it sounds bad. The less I'm thinking about that part of it, which is not insignificant, not worth thinking about, it's just, despite being a broken shell, I'm still really, really narcissistic. Like, really. Even now in my cowering state, my narcissism is just exploding around me. So beware of that, in all fairness. I don't know how to say it any other way that would be like more true or effective or like empathetic or Hippocratic as opposed to hypocritical. But I want them to sound right. E